Well, hello everybody and welcome. It is the Summer Cup coming up on the weekend and we thought we'd catch up with our good friend Lance Michael, who has lots of opinions. I must tell you that this is a couple of hours after we watched Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, so we've seen one big upset in this World Cup already, haven't we?
Scary. Who would have thought, Neil? 28 to 1 to win a 3-horse.
Is that what price they were? Wow.
28 to 1. So
sure.
Outsiders do happen. It does happen more often than we think.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Lionel Messi and Di Maria will be back at the drawing board there. But this main discussion is about the Summer Cup coming up on the weekend. And I've got the soccershop.bet price booster lined up for the weekend. It won't be sparkling water, that I can tell you, because sparkling water is the favourite at 22 to 10. Let's start with her. For me, she looks skinny. I mean, if I was a bookmaker, I'd be looking to punish her.
Yeah, Neil, that's, Dave Mollett phoned me, asked me for a few comments. That was my lay.
Really, huh?
Big time. I said I'd like to lay her for every rand. So 22 to 10 for me is too thin. And as good as she won the July, as worthy favourite as she may be, I think she's got one or two to beat.
Yeah, and if you look at her from last year, mind you, she did pretty well to win the Victory Moon, wasn't it, last time? I think it was the Victory. No, that was Litigation's race. What race did she run?
She won the July.
No, but she's run subsequently. She ran second. Maybe to Litigation. I think she ran second to Litigation.
Yes, to Litigation. She moved up.
Yes. Which was a terrific run.
Needed the run, correct.
Yeah. So before I get a hate mail from my good friend Mike, who trains for me, of course, I think Safe Passage of the two is the right one, and I've told Mike this. I feel that Safe Passage at the Turffontein track, a galloping track, big strong horse that Mike's on record saying that he's almost got an unusual heart rhythm.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
He's my first choice. Tough 3-year-old, beaten the best, run well in the July, and of course for me that didn't really suit him, even though he won the 2000. And I think he'd be a top 4-year-old and better, so he's my first choice.
Yeah,
Mark holds the key.
Yeah, no question. And the yard is big in form. The important ones are winning, I think.
And even Aragosta, Neil. Aragosta loves Turffontein stand side. He's had a good prep. I mean, if he wins, you wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, he's got the credentials to win a race like this.
Yeah, just coming back to the Mike de Kock factor, he knows how to win this race. Between him and Jeff Woodruff, they had a stranglehold on it. So it would be no surprise. So of those two, that's interesting. So your first choice, I think you and I see it the same. Your first choice, the same as mine, is Safe Passage.
Yes.
Sparkling Water we don't particularly like because of the price. But oddly enough, Aragosta might be, even as much as I like Safe Passage, I might be more tempted to take 7 to 1 about Aragosta than 28 to 10 about Safe Passage.
The reason I said to you, he's a big runner. He loves the course. He's won there. Big galloping horse. Great prep. For me, he's my second choice, if not close first choice. I don't like the filly. I don't want to put anybody off, but I just don't like the filly. She must probably win like she won in the July, but not for me. Yeah,
okay. Well, and always when we chat to Lance, the purpose of this is to look at the betting and to find the value. Clocking the Gallop is built about that. Our selections, as it were, are not designed to win every race. That's not what we're about. What we're about is when we have our winners to get you the value, double figures and beyond. So speaking of which, Puerto Manzano is an interesting horse. My question is, he looks well and he's got the right stable, he's in form, yes. Keegan de Mello. Does he stay? Does he stay at this level?
No, that's the short answer. I don't think so. He loves the course, stable's in form. Great jockey, informed jockey, but no, he doesn't get it at this level. Litigation, same applies. I think he's a good outsider when he was 40, 50 to 1.
Which you told me a couple of months ago when I asked you what's your roughie for the Summer Cup. You told me Litigation, but I mean at the weights he's under, he's under sufferance. He's not in the race.
I would have preferred him not to have won a week ago. But he's a runner. He's not value anymore, but he's a runner. Nebras has become the value.
Yes.
From that Victory Moon run. He might very well be running on strongly. I don't think it can win, but he could fill the placings.
Okay, so we've dealt with most of the top of the market. I'm just going down in order, but I do want to continue going because like me, I think you probably find, and some punters like to find a place horse. Below that, Red Saxon, interesting, just hovering below.
He's a very good place horse. He won
the classic.
Correct. Beat Safe Passage. So he's got all his reasons for running there. You know, he can very easily run in the money.
And Joe Somers won the race before with Wagner.
Correct.
So he's got his preparation.
And the stable's doing nicely.
Yeah, he's a tremendous trainer, Joe Somers. He doesn't have that much opportunity. But
he's a good outsider, enough. He's a very good outsider.
So Red Saxon 20 to 1. William Robertson, interesting horse. Quality, but again, bit of pudding and also the trip.
Yeah, I think those are two big negatives. He's a really good horse, though, Neil. I just think he's a better miler, 1400 miler. I think they're pushing it.
I would concur with that. MK's Pride, probably the same.
Same
applies. I see it the same way. Where I read William Robertson, I read
very
MK's
thin
Pride.
race past Mike de Kock and one or two others.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it might be a Mike de Kock exacta for sure. Let's quickly go down. Pyromaniac. Sean, I remember having a conversation, probably about this time last year, and hasn't quite kicked on, but on his day he's capable.
Sean thinks highly of Pyromaniac. I mean, I'd hate to be the one to say not in the race. And it wins, and the next lunchtime I won't, I won't be able to live it down. But the reality is I don't think he's there yet. He may get there, but not Saturday.
Okay. Asterix, who of course surprised everybody when he beat Sparkling Water, with a few choice words from Mike on the day. I think, like all of us, we were shocked. But
if we had this conversation a year ago, you'd get the same answer from me, not for me.
The filly, Light of the Moon, not for you. Super Silvana. Here's a horse, Super Silvana. You see, we haven't discussed this until we're discussing it now, but like you, I think in
Cape Town, when he was at his best, he was close to the best.
Yes.
So, and he's had a few runs up here, and he's done okay, so...
Yeah, I've got to first put out a cautionary, because I only got the computer form today, so I haven't studied it. So I'm talking to you before I study, but my gut feel is he's one horse I'm going to have a look at. Because I think, not to win necessarily, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's 55 to 1.
Having not studied, is Silvana and Red Saxon. Those are going to be your two. You'll put lines together and you'll form an opinion.
And the brass, you say, as well.
On the brass, Sean was stoked about its run, and I don't think it's going to come too quickly. That I wouldn't know. But he said to me, he said, listen, he's going to be spot on come the Summer Cup day. So.
Okay, the others are hard to fancy. You've got Zilzal, Divine Odyssey, Razor, Hallelujah. Just want the Shango and Jamila. I just want to put, I've skipped one here. Second base at 70 to 1.
On his day, Neil, you know, he can run, but 70 to 1 is a big price.
No, well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't suggest for 1 minute that he's going to win, but 70 to 1 is...
for the fourth.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know if he's 20, 30, 40 points less than Paula Manzana in the betting.
100%.
They've always run together, so it could be value.
Okay, so there you go. Actually, funnily enough, Lance and I said, as we often do, very similar in terms of where the value lies in the market. It certainly looks as though it's a Mike de Kock race. Of the three that are at the top of the market, we both prefer the second favourite and the third favourite, Safe Passage and Aragosta. Before we close, World Cup's upon us now. Argentina have lost, but I've got a sneaky suspicion that there might be a few curveballs in this World Cup.
Yeah, before the World Cup, you know, everybody, what do you like, what's going to win? It was very hard to find a winner. Any one of 7, 8, 9 teams can win legitimately, and you wouldn't say, oh, how did they win? So, yeah, I mean, England looked good against a poor team, but England usually play poorly against poor teams, so you've got to give them kudos for that.
Yeah, well, they certainly don't score 6 goals too often, especially when Harry Kane doesn't score.
Exactly right. So they, you know what, it's a great World Cup. You know, the first game for me was very dull, and I was a bit worried about the atmosphere and the vibe, but it's turned into...
Yeah, we quickly into that game last night. Senegal and Netherlands was a great game. Yes, probably flattered Holland a bit.
Today was good. Today was a huge shock, but it was great football to watch them get beat and to hang on, and you know, all the drama attached, which was excellent. So to answer your question, I can't find a winner.
Yeah.
I backed Portugal, I backed Belgium, but they could easily not even make their qualifications.
Absolutely.
But, you know, as things happen.
As always, it's finding the value. Brazil, probably the form horse, but none of us want to back favourites.
I don't like France.
No, France are a punish, I agree with you. Well, now Benzema's out, so you've got no Pogba, no Kante, no Benzema, and the worst is you've still got Hugo Lloris, our goalkeeper, for them.
So, not for me.
No, not for me either. So there you go. France is the punish in the World Cup, perhaps. Those are the thoughts of Lance Michael. Don't forget that it's a big day, Summer Cup on the weekend. And as always, soccershop.bet are there. If you want to have a bet, you know where to go.